to like, first you're the artist and you just do it. And then when it's done, take a step back and become the marketing guy, put on a different hat and go, how can I get this work out to the right people? And then if you're lucky like me, what you should do is have your best friend get a job at Marvel and then go, hey, show my stuff to him. And after 10 years of beating your head against the wall, someone will give you a break.
I can trace literally every single thing Marvel's ever hired me to do to a black and white create our own thing that I did. The folks working at comics companies, they read comics too. They don't just pump them out. They look at stuff, and if they get psyched and charged about some small press thing that they saw, they'll pick up the phone and make a call.
And they read comics.
Yeah.
And there's also the baseball metaphor. You don't get to pitch for the Yankees unless you've already been playing for the A team in high school.
College,
so you don't.
They really do treat it like farm leagues.
Yeah.
It's the best way to think about it.
And what you don't do is, when I got pwned with this week, it comes in waves, where I woke up and there was like 15 guys sent me their original idea. They typed it out and emailed me.
And you said trash.
No, I went on Twitter, I go, please don't do this. Don't send it to me, don't send it to anybody. You're just giving, first of all, you're just giving your way to, who knows how honest anybody is, right? I personally won't even read them because I don't even want to create a thing, but that's not how you break it. No one's going to go, you know what, kid, you got moxie. Apes versus aliens, I never like it, you know. But
you're not walking into the diner and saying, kid, you're beautiful.
No, you really have to buckle down and make your book. And with Jeff and a lot of other guys, myself, what I find is when they hire writers, they're not just hiring you to write something, they actually want your whole brain. And if you can make a comic book, that makes you incredibly attractive as a potential person. They like that you know how I have done everything to put the staples in the book, and though I can't professionally do it for Marvel, they know I know what it takes. And so if I have a note, it's not a dumb note. It's a note from a guy who sat in his basement for 10 years, stuck the war balloons on a piece of paper myself. And Matt Fraction, all these guys did it. Ed Brubaker was a Caliber with me. All these guys did this, and it makes you insanely attractive as a writer. And they want all of you. They want the whole package.
They want to know that you can finish what you start too.
Exactly.
It's like a lot of people talk a great game, and they wow editors and everybody else at a show and everything, and then they choke as soon as they get their first deadline. It's like when they can look at, like, okay, you did a book through Oni or Dark Horse or whatever. It's like, look, you did a whole miniseries. Didn't get fired. Apparently, it went well. It came out. You know, that goes a long way. So that's why Marvel and DC, because in the position they're in, they don't have to play it scared. You know, they can play it safe and look at other people and let them get out some of their bad pages and mature in somewhere else before they go, hey, you're getting really good, snatch. So that's what you just got to be extremely awesome and better than everything around you.
The most recent example is Nick Spencer. Who just, a lot of good ideas, sat down and got them done. He had good taste in artists, got them done, and he had image backing like we had, and he just showed, I'm going to do this whether you hire me or not. I'm not, I'm doing it.
Yeah, just putting out comics. You might as well hire me.
I don't care if I get $100. I don't care if I get $100. I'm just doing it. Right?
Yeah.
And then I happen to know that C.B. Cebulski is on the lookout. That makes him very attractive. They start looking at this guy, taking his work very seriously, because he's taking his work seriously.
When I broke in as an artist, my plan for breaking in, and I laid it out, and I actually did it. I mailed out a new, this is back when we used mail. It was stamps, and we didn't have computers.
You're old.
I know. I mailed out a new batch of 8-page samples to every writer, every editor, and every assistant editor in the entire business. If there was the slightest possibility they could hire me, they got a new package of samples from me on the first of every month for a year. What this got the word out about is, what this told people is, I could make a deadline before I had any. And that's an enormous thing when you're putting out monthly books. It's everything to them, because if you do flake out, you don't just ruin your own life, you ruin the lives of several dozen people down the line.
Yeah, they've got bills to pay and they've got kids and stuff. You can't flake out on your script, and stuff like that. You're going to screw all these other people.
Every single
things need to ship when they need to ship.
Every single comic book company is understaffed. Every single one.
Oh yeah,
These editors got 12, 15 books under their belt. If anything you can do to make their life easy, that is more than half the game. And every once in a while you see a guy working, and you go, "How is this guy working?" I guarantee you, he's making someone's life easy.
Yeah,
he is a pleasure to work.
Pulling some editing chores.
Because you know what, some of those books just got to get out the door. And it's up to us as the artists to be artists, but it's up to them to get the book out the door. So.
Oh yes.
I had a question about criticism. I know that there's a fair amount of people out there who are like, how dare you kill my favorite character? I hope you die, and just some really disturbing stuff.
I'm unaware of this.
And on behalf of the fans, I'm sorry, but I've also noticed that there are some people out there who are, I would say, actually fairly insightful and are making me think about comics in different ways. And I know Grant Morrison is actually talking to the people who are annotating his Batman run. And so I was wondering if you guys are paying attention to any particular writers out there who are making you think about the comics that are out there, and maybe sort of considering things in a different way.
The two critics that I'll always pay attention to are Joe McCullough and Douglas Wolk. They're both really smart, and they do a lot more than recaps or here's what's happened in this issue and here's why it's not good. They give you a different pair of eyes to look at the comic with, and it's a well-informed pair of eyes. They're witty, they're thoughtful. They're guys with a lot to say about stuff, and I'm always interested in the opinion of a really smart person.
I certainly wish that there were so many of them that we couldn't name them.
Yeah.
That's the only
way. We can do this real fast.
Yeah, I know, but it's and I went online about a month ago and I said I wish there was more long form critique. There's a lot of hit and run, and it's for movies too. There's a lot of hit and run, but I read a lot of long form analysis of other medium. Particularly American cinematographers, like my favorite magazine, and I eat it. I get so excited, right? There's no comic book equivalent.
I know what you were talking about when you said that. Yeah.
I know, but so a handful of self-loathing bloggers lost their mind on me because they're like, "What do you mean?" And meanwhile, they all agreed with me, all of them, and they just hated that I said it, and just started bouncing on my head. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't talking about you. I like Modern Masters, who's just coming out from Tomorrow's. Tomorrow's puts out the best stuff. It's because you really get in, almost, insane minutia detailing the artist's life and what's going on, and they only go up to a certain place, which is my childhood, and then from there it goes on. In fact, even in my class, the funniest moment in the class to me was I showed two documentaries about comics, Comic Confidential and Modern Masters, right? Both are excellent documentaries. Both end on the year 1985. And after the second one, one of the classmates raised their hand and goes, "What happened after 1985?" And I go, "Yeah, there's no record of it."
Yeah.
And so I do wish, and it was funny. I go, "Oh, I'm older than you," but I wish there was more. I do. I'm desperate for it. Not because, and it was all like I wanted people to talk about me. When I promise you, if I could stop the internet from talking about me totally, I would be great. But I want to read a long form analysis of Jeff Johns' work or Ed Brubaker's Captain America. Like Ed Brubaker's Captain America deserves lengthy analysis, and there has been none. There's been Tea Party bitching and all this other stuff. There's been no lengthy. And as you see, Ed also is even admitting he deserves long form analysis.
Here's how they critically review a book. At first, Cap showed up, and Winter Soldier's there, and then he says, "Hey, you go over." They just tell you the entire thing, and they get it wrong. That's what gets me so mad. Okay, fine, tell my whole story, but at least say what happened.
No,
you
read
it in the book.
I like those because it tells me, okay, you have a reading comprehension problem. So I hear that invalidates.
Then you know to stop.
All right,
well,
okay. Not everyone can read on equal levels. It's okay.
I have to say that I really enjoy being interviewed by Laura Henson of Comics Alliance, because she will get me to say things that I normally wouldn't say.
See, she tries to get me to say
But she asks smart questions, and she's fun to talk to. She knows her comics. She's got journalistic ethics, which is like crazy. But I really enjoy working.
See, some of the blogs I found to be excellent interviewers. They really, buckle down and do it. I had Dave Richards at CBR is a really good interviewer, and Vanita is really, really good. I don't know if she's doing stuff now.
She's the only good thing at Newsarama.
I told her she's called Vanita Rama, and we'd all.
And our all-time, I think we all love John Suntries. I can listen to John Suntries all day.
John is the audio version, and I should say this because that podcast is what I'm looking for, but I want to read it. He is lengthy, great interviews with almost anyone I care about. It's fantastic. He's amazing.
Someone else, David Brothers at Fourth Letter. He's really good. I've been liking his stuff. Who else?
For great
Abhay.
Abhay is a tremendously guilty pleasure for me. But,
Yeah, I'll read it. Whatever. It may not have anything to do with the book, but I'll read it.
It's just a fascinating car crash every time.
I hope Abhay gets the help he needs. That's all.
Hi.
Paul doesn't read the internet.
We got more?
I don't look at the internet. So.
I don't believe a word you're saying.
It's a thing inside a computer.
I don't look at criticism much at all.
Colleen tells him what was on the internet.
I tell him what people are saying.
It's like a puppet show, basically.
Here, I've edited it down. This is all you need.
Yeah, I wish they could do. Remember you like in a sitcom they would open up the paper and they cut out the bad article. I wish they could do that.
That's
on
my
the
job.
internet. Yeah. You had a follow-up on that?
Well, I was wondering if you think there's actually something particular about the genre. I mean, why we have no Pauline Kael, for example, or is it just a young medium? Or
No, it's not a young medium.
There's no economic structure to
That was the argument that hit me in the face when I said I wish there was more long form. Well, who's going to pay me? And I was like, well, most of my friends didn't get paid for the good portion of their career, so I don't acknowledge that. You know what I mean? If you're serious about it, you'll do it, whether someone's paying you or not. And I know that's easy to say, but it wasn't easy to do. I'm talking from experience. I put my money where my mouth is.
There's also a lot of that's from film school people.
Yeah, Justin
and there's
Evans.
not lots of comic schools,
Yeah, Justin Evans is a good example of that. He annotated
Jess is awesome.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen for I don't even know how long, and he's a library science teacher in Texas.
I looked at him for answers on things all the time.
Yeah.
A
Sometimes I'm just writing.
a lot of the big retrospective books have been having good critical essays in them too. That giant Art of Jaime Hernandez book that just came out.
Oh, they're fantastic.
That's more of that long form sort of stuff that we're all craving.
Yeah.
We just wish it was about us.
Yeah, I don't like these books where it's like, I'm sorry, I know everybody likes Chip Kidd, but it's.
I love Chip Kidd.
Yeah, he's a good designer, but I don't want to see a book of ephemera. I want to see something that had some knowledge behind it. And you wake up, well, that's a bunch of cool pictures of Captain Marvel, but I wish there were some information in here to go along with it instead of here's a neat ad. But that's people kind of digest us like ephemera. So.
Plus you're talking about like criticism, and I think there's still in this the stigma that comics are for kids or something like that. What would you like to see the industry do, like as a whole, to become taken more seriously by the masses?
See, I don't want it to be taken more seriously. Like what? The series as the Harry Potter movies? They just want to be taken as a legitimate art form.
I guess maybe how about to grow? So that
Well, more kids material,
yeah, like so,
to go right back to it. Yeah.
But man, I wish the society read more.